Hello everyone, and welcome to Odoo Experience 2021. My name is Gabriel Moraes, I'm a Key Account Manager at Odoo, and the objective of this talk today is to present an overview about a very complex topic that there is the digital transformation. And we will focus in a very practical way. So after watching this presentation, you will be able to start or to improve your digital transformation activities and evaluate how Odoo could help your company to achieve its goals. And at the end of this presentation, we will have the questions and answers session live. So please send your message in the chat now or during the presentation.
Nice. Thank you, Gabriel. Digital transformation is a very interesting topic, so just sit back and let's check it out.
Thank you, Marcelo. So first, it's important to notice that the digital transformation might be different for each company depending on its digital maturity. For example, a company that is still managing their activities with paper and pencil is considered as a non-digital business. Today, there are still many companies that are completely non-digital. Others could be considered as digitally translated business. In other words, they translated their process to a digital environment. So one example, they are managing their company using a business software. And finally, we have business that they are digitally designed. So they are planned with a digital mindset from the first place.
Interesting. That's very important to mention that that might be a company that has processes or sectors in the company that has different digital maturity. For example, the e-commerce is fully automated for the digital transformation, but the warehouse does not have anything prepared for it. And here in Odoo, we help all these steps to happen.
Nice. Thank you, Marcelo. So over the years at Odoo, we have participated in many digital transformation projects involving the implementation of Odoo business apps. So we've realized that there are four key areas to take in consideration: technology, process, data, and organizational change capacity. This concept was studied by Professors Thomas Davenport and Thomas Redman, and they wrote a very interesting article that was published at the Harvard Business Review. So they found out that to be successful at your digital transformation, you need to bring together and coordinate all these four interrelated domains. And at the end, it's essential to have the best people to assist you in this challenge. So let's see more in details about each one of these key four areas, starting with technology. So technology is evolving very fast today, and companies, they need to be at the forefront to be more competitive. They need a management system, an ERP, that is powerful, fully integrated, easy to use, and that will evolve with time, as it's the case of Odoo. You also need to consider how your ERP will integrate with other technologies or devices. For example, Odoo has an IoT app, Internet of Things, that allows you to connect different machines or devices such as cameras, printers, measurement tools, weighting scales, and many other equipments to your main database. You should also consider the new technologies in your sector as well and invest in research and development. We would recommend as well a special attention to the technical debt, as many companies today have legacy systems that are difficult to change and are not evolving with time. This might be a risk for your operations in the long term if you are using an obsolete technology that compared to a more advanced ones.
One example can be a company that has a system implemented very long time ago. It has a lot of developments, it has a lot of implementations, but it's still becoming obsolete. The big problem here is that the longer you take for changing this system, the worse it's going to get. So it's better to take action right now and change it to a better system that evolves over time.
If it is your case, probably it will better move to Odoo. And of course, all this technology is producing data, a key asset for the 21st century. And today, the majority of the companies, they admit that they should have better data quality and analytics. Many need to improve their data architecture and how to integrate external and internal information all together. We highly recommend centralizing your data in only one system, as it is the case of Odoo, that allows you to manage all your activities in only one solution that is fully integrated between the different apps, as for example, the CRM, invoicing, project, manufacturing, human resources app, marketing apps, and many others. And with Odoo, it's also possible to integrate your database with other softwares via the API when it's needed. Some companies they face a big challenge with the lack of integration when they use many solutions and the system they don't talk to each other. Normally this is a big problem, but with a solid data structure you'll be able to create high quality data analysis and reports. This will help a lot in the right decision making using information that will guide you in your actions. You also need to consider where you are hosting your data and the digital security of your information. That is why Odoo offers a very powerful hosting platform that is called the Odoo SH. So for those who don't know Odoo SH yet, we highly recommend visiting its website odoo.sh to get more information about this great tool. And now this data is created by your business process. Therefore, it's very important to improve it over time to create data correctly according to your needs. Always, of course, thinking about how you can meet your customer needs in new ways. And to be more efficient in your process, you can also use the automation and data-driven decision making.
A very simple example of this automation on Odoo is when you do one simple step on one part of the system and other parts get affected, such as confirming a quotation and automatically getting a delivery transfer, a purchase order, or a project task created in a project might help you with the automation on Odoo. And this is just a simple one as many ones that we can have in Odoo right now.
And with automation, your team will spend less time doing manual and repetitive tasks to allow them to do more important activities that will bring value to the company and prepare it for future challenge. And of course, all of that is better in an environment that provides the best user experience possible to your employee and customers. And by the way, the Odoo UX that was already great in previous version is even better now in the newly released version 15. But at the end, what will define your capacity to adapt and thrive is how your company is changing over time. So it's essential to have the internal commitment throughout your organization involving different teams, not only your IT department. So the internal leaders of your digital transformation, they must be great communicators and they need to share their vision of the evolution that might be a part of the company culture. And if needed, you can have the assistance of experienced professionals to help you in your digital transformation project. And that is one of the reasons why too many people today talk about the change management that must consider a complete view about your organization, otherwise we might face a risk that is the transformation will be reduced to a series of incremental improvement, but they are not truly transformative as a whole. So in some cases, the incremental process improvement is going to be enough. In other cases, it's going to be necessary some radical process reengineering.
Remember, it's all about people. You will need courage, leadership, and teamwork And Odoo is here to always help you, just like our amazing presenter, Gabriel.
Thank you, Marcelo. So let's see now some common mistakes that some companies do and why some digital transformation fail. So in our experience, we've seen that some very common mistakes as, for example, a company that is using too many different solutions and spreadsheets. Let me give you an example. Imagine a company that each one of the different departments is using a different business software and even they are using some Excel spreadsheet. None of this information is integrated. There are some internal communication problems. It's difficult for a team member to see the process of other department. It's difficult to create reports. Management is not making decisions based on the analytics. And this happens mainly because the data is not centralized. And probably some of the softwares that they are using is old and they are difficult to change. It is very likely that there is a technical debt and it's possible that the process they are not optimal. So I would recommend you, if your company is in this situation, I would recommend you to try to reduce the numbers of softwares that you are using, centralizing your data. Another common issue that some companies are facing is the internal resistance to change. And in these companies, there are a lack of collaboration, a lack of coordination. In some extreme cases, there is no trust between the team members. This happens mainly because the necessity to change and to evolve was not promoted internally. And some people, they are not convinced that about the importance of improving your activities. Another common mistake that many companies make is to do not have a digital transformation plan. When there's not a plan, it's likely that different people are working in different initiatives without collaboration, without a clear guideline, considering the main objectives of the company, and very likely that the energy and the effort is being wasted in the wrong priorities. For example, we see that many companies are focused on doing too much development on their database when they could use a standard version of the software. They are not considering the cost of the development, the technical challenge, the cost of implementation, how this cost is evolving over time, so many factors that they are not considering. Compare the situation, for example, with the large majority of the Odoo implementations that they are very standard. But of course, there's also always the possibility to adapt the software and even do some developments, as Odoo is an open source business software. So setting the wrong priorities is a common mistake for people who lack knowledge and experience. That's why we always recommend to have a digital transformation plan made by some competent, experienced professionals. So let's see now what a digital transformation plan looks like. So as we've seen, we need to consider four key domains: technology, process, data, and organizational change capacity. So you must evaluate the as-is situation. In other words, what is the situation in your company today to set your to-be objective, what you want to achieve in the near future. This way you can design a digital transformation plan. You should consider as well a sequence of actions that make sense according to your end goals. For example, if a process should be improved, it's better to do a re-engineering before doing some automation. And always remember to consider how you will receive, process, and share data within and outside the organization. And to be successful in your initiatives, it will be necessary to assemble the right team of leaders in your organization, but also with external assistance. That's why you can count on us at Odoo and with our thousands of Odoo partners all over the world that could assist you in your digital transformation project. So to finish our presentation, and after analyzing all these points, we can bring together some insights about the digital transformation that must be a key goal for your company to keep evolving over time. And if you are not evolving, there is a high chance that your competitors will conquer your market share. And as we've seen, the ERP is a central point of your digital transformation plan. And of course, it's important to consider as well the investments that you make. That's why in Odoo, in our projects, we do a ROI analysis before the implementation. And normally the return on investment is very high in our Odoo projects. So thank you for watching the presentation. Now it's time to answer your questions live. So please send your message in the chat. Thank you.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this Q&A session. Thanks a lot for your time and that presentation. Very informative. I learned a lot of things. Are you ready for some questions?
Ready? Let's go to the questions.
Perfect. So the first one, why are so many people talking about digital transformation today?
Well, it's a good question, Esther, because today a lot of people they are looking to be more digital, and actually the world is changing very fast. This is not something that happens recently, but especially in our world, there are many companies that they need to be digital. Especially the companies that are non-digital, the companies that are still doing their processes, for example, using paper, pencil, and many documents. So these companies, it's important for them to have management system, digital systems that they can use and improve their processes. This way they can have more reliable informs, they can have better decisions, automations, and they can do, well, a better process. And this is especially true for the companies that they need to be more competitive. Companies that are not digital, they are very likely that they are not going to be as competitive as the companies that they are fully digital, that they have automation in their process, that they have like the best software available to manage their operations. And of course, that is the case of the companies that are using Odoo today.
Great, thanks a lot for that. And Pedro asked, what's the role of the IoT in the digital transformation project?
Thank you, Pedro. This is a good question to ask as well. But Internet of Things is one technology that is very useful for the companies that they want to integrate their data. So the Internet of Things basically are going to send information, send data between one device, one equipment, one machine to your database, to the center of your database. So let's give one example. Imagine that you are managing an industrial plant. In this industrial plant, you have different machines that, for example, are measuring some parts of the projects that you are producing. You can directly connect these machines, measuring equipments, or any kind of devices directly to your Odoo database. This way, the machines that are going to send data directly to your system. This way, you are going to have more reliable informs. You are going to have better information, and even you can automate some data without the risk, for example, that will be any mistakes. Imagine, for example, that could happen when you are using paper, pencil, physical documents, or even the typing mistakes that could happen as well. So the IoT gives reliability, you are going to have automation in your process, so you are going to have all the benefits that the technology can bring to us.
All right, great. Thanks a lot for the answer. And we have a question from Mario. How can I present my company to a customer who is in a total non-digital way of work? What are your recommendations?
Yeah, Mario, this might be difficult, but it's important to first share the importance of to be a digital company today. And actually, this is not a choice anymore. The companies that they want to survive in a business digital world, they just need to be digital. In the case, if this company choose to keep working as a non-digital company, basically they are going to be less effective, their products they are going to be more expensive, their service they are not going to be as reliable as their competitors, and at the end other companies, their competitors, they are going to offer better service, better products to the public. So at the long run, what will happen to this company is that probably they are not going to survive the competition, that the competition, they of course they are investing in a new ERP, they're investing in digital products, and they are going to be prepared for this future. So basically, if a company wants to survive in a very competitive world, they don't have any choice. They must do a digital transformation project.
Okay, great. Thank you. And we have a question from Alberto asking, what characteristics should the right team have to initiate a digital transformation in a company?
It's a good question, Alberto. But it's very important as well to have the internal commitment of the company. So first you have to share the importance of doing a digital transformation project. People, they must understand, and we must have the commitment internally. And this commitment is not only from, for example, the technological department, from the IT guys, for example. It's important that you have these digital transformation leaders throughout your organization. So it's going to be important to identify key roles. For example, team leaders, people that are responsible for departments, so they can assume this responsibility to be the communicator, so they can share their vision, share their impressions, they can communicate to everyone, to all the employees, so that everyone is committed to this digital transformation change that's going to prepare the company for the future changes, make it more efficient, create better data information, create better reports, doing automation, and this is going to make the company be more competitive, have better results, grow, bring more better opportunities, and this is going to be good not only for the company itself, but also to your customers and to the whole environment that you are working with.
Yeah, in that same topic, what would you recommend for resistance to change? How would you effectively handle it?
Yes, Esther, this happens quite frequently because the internal resistance to change, this might rise because there are a lot of people they simply they don't want to change. Maybe they are afraid of changing. They are used to work with, for example, a specific software, working in a specific way, doing some process. But it's important to know that everything in life is changing, everything is improving. The technology actually is changing very fast. So again, it's going to be important to share the importance of the change, important to so they can see that their workload, their activities are going to be better managed, that's going to be better for the company, that's going to be better for themselves, to the other employees, to the communication between the different teams. So that would be very important, as we mentioned before, to define some key roles in your digital transformation project, those persons that are going to lead this transformation, and that these persons they communicate between the different teams. So this way you could reduce the internal resistance to change, and even I would say allow these persons to be involved in the process and be excited about this change. That's of course in the case of Odoo. If you are moving from an old system, an old ERP, with Odoo you are going to see that the user experience is way better. You can have the communication as we've seen, the communication in the version 15, it's amazing. The data automation, the reports, and many other good benefits that you could have, for example, moving from an old ERP to Odoo version 15.
Yeah, and in that same topic, actually, we got a question from Drew, who's asking, do you recommend importing historical data from, the legacy system to Odoo?
Drew, this is also very important because we are talking here about migration. And migration might be a challenge, mainly for the companies that they are using a very old software that they have a huge amount of data. But now that you are doing a migration, that you are moving to another software, that you are moving to Odoo version 15, for example, it's important to understand what data do you want to keep and what's the structure of the data that you want to have in your company. In other words, what is the information that's important to you? Maybe you are still storing a lot of information that not necessarily is relevant for your company today. Maybe it's not relevant for your company in the future. Maybe it is. So it's important to know what is going to be your strategy. Being more specific, you have one possibility that's not importing any data at all. It's a very extreme situation. The other extreme is to import 100% of the data that you have in your old system. And very likely, the best option for your company is going to be something in the between, is to analyze the data that you have today. What's the data that you want to migrate, what's going to be your architecture, and to do this migration with good professionals. For example, choosing the best Odoo partner to follow your project and to have the assistance, of course, from our Odoo consultant that they are here to help you.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. And before wrapping up, Alejandro has just asked if he can take you for the presentation to the clients.
I would be glad to join. Send us an email and send us to one contact at Odoo, and we are going to be very happy to assist you.
Perfect. I hope you had a very enriching Odoo experience. Thanks a lot for your time and the presentation.
Thank you, Esther.
Have a great one. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.